Good morning, everyone. Boker Tov. As we speak right now, Israel is preparing to receive the first 3 hostages being returned from Gaza. And while this deal is called a deal, it's really a crime that they were kidnapped, abducted, and now that we have to release over 1,000 terrorists, many of whom have blood on their hands. And so therefore, it's a painful exchange and an unjust exchange. But yet, the Israeli government decided to go forward, and we must embrace and respect their decision. And now is not a time for opinions, but it's a time for unity. It's a time to show empathy for the families who have suffered for so long, for the hostages who have suffered for so long, and to show compassion for those who have endured the greatest nightmare and trauma that any human being could ever fathom and imagine. And now is a time for prayers, for the strength of the people, for the healing of the hostages and their families, that they should all come home alive and not just physically healthy, but psychologically be able to return to some form of normalcy. But this is also time to strengthen our faith. This week's Torah portion begins with a very enigmatic verse. Vayedaber Elokim. Elokim spoke to Moshe, and he said, Ani Hashem, I am God, using the name Yud Hey Vav Kei, the tetragrammaton, the holiest name of God. And the rabbis wonder, what is the meaning of this verse? Elokim says, Ani, I am Hashem. And our rabbis explain so powerfully that the word Elokim, the name Elokim, means the God of justice, of judgment. That's when God acts in a way of harsh discipline and sometimes unfathomable evil that we witness in the world. Yud Hey Vav Kei is the name of compassion, of mercy, of love, when God acts in a loving way. And our faith dictates, just like with parents, sometimes parents don't act lovingly towards a child, but it is all motivated by love. Our faith dictates that everything we experience is one and the same. And this is God's response to Moses. Moses went to Pharaoh to demand the freedom of the Jewish people. And what did Pharaoh say? You're complaining because you're lazy. I'm going to intensify the labor. Now they're going to have to fetch their own straw. And at the end of last week's Torah portion, Moses comes out of the palace and says to God, why have you done evil to this people? Why did you send me to make things worse? I don't understand, God. Where is your compassion? Where is your love? And God says, wait, you will see the miracles. You will see the plagues. You will see the redemption of the Jewish people. And always remember, even when you experience Elokim, the God of judgment, Ani Hashem, it's all love. And that's why when we say the Shema, we say Shema Yisrael. It's the pledge allegiance of the Jew. Hashem Elokeinu. Hashem is Elokeinu. Even when we experience Elokim, it's Hashem, it's love. Everything that God does is good. Hashem Achad, it's all one. There is no difference between those things that are loving and compassionate and those things that seem harsh. And while this is very difficult, it requires tremendous faith and belief. That's why we cover our eyes when we say the Shema. Because if we look at the world, we don't see that. We see evil as evil. We don't see it all coming from God. And therefore we have to cover our eyes and say, God, I believe that it's all going to be good. Just like in the beginning, Moses didn't understand God's ways, but it all worked out for the best. God destroyed Egypt and toppled that regime and freed the Jews. Ultimately, even these difficult moments will lead to ultimate freedom and safety and security for the Jewish people in ways that we cannot even fathom or understand, but only with our faith that Hashem is guiding the world with love, with kindness, and with compassion, and ultimately everything will be good. Yesterday in the synagogue I mentioned that as this 6-week process begins and 42 days of releasing 33 hostages, our synagogue has a special connection to one of the hostages, because one of the young girls, Emily Damari, who was abducted, who's now 28 years old, from Kfar Aza, is a friend of Rabbi Label, because when Rabbi Label was in Hebron studying 5 years ago, she was a soldier, and they met and had a friendship, because Rabbi Label would bring food and drinks to the soldiers and help them as they stood on their posts for all the hours, day and night. And when Emily was abducted, taken hostage, together with all the others on October 7th, just a few weeks after October 7th, a group of rabbis, myself included, from the Palm Beach Synagogue, went to Israel to show solidarity. And we heard about the people from Kfar Aza who were in a hotel called Shifaim, and we said, let's go visit them, because we know that Emily was abducted from Kfar Aza and her family lives in Kfar Aza. And our driver happened to know somebody there. And so we came to the hotel, and a representative of the community came onto our van to greet us. And she said, my name is Pazit Damari. And Rabbi Label said, are you related to Emily? She said, yes, it's my sister-in-law. She was abducted just a few weeks ago, taken hostage. And Label said, I know her from Hebron. And she started to cry. She couldn't believe that a group of rabbis from Palm Beach came, and they know her sister-in-law who was in captivity. And Rabbi Label took out his phone and showed pictures to her, of him and Emily in Hebron. And she said, it's unbelievable that you're here. And she was crying with emotion that we came all the way from Palm Beach, and we came with a message that we know Emily and we are praying for her safe return. Every time we've gone to Israel on missions, the synagogue mission, the women's mission, we always return to Shfaim to meet with the families. We met with Emily's mother and her 3 strong, courageous brothers who never gave up for 470 days. They took us back to Kfar Aza, showed us exactly where everything happened, where Emily's apartment was. And now, after 470 days, she's coming home, because they never gave up on their faith, and we kept on praying and supporting the family. And indeed, the people from Kfar Aza went back in recent months and started rebuilding Kfar Aza with thousands of volunteers coming from all over to help. And Emily's house is renovated and waiting for her a brand new home to come home to. And one of the other 3 hostages, Daron Steinbrecher, was abducted from Kfar Aza. And she has a brand new home waiting for her. And so she's waiting to be embraced by her family, by her loved ones, and a brand new home is waiting for them in Israel. Rabbi Label, as I said yesterday, as soon as he's going to hear the news, he said he's getting on a plane to go be there with Emily and her family. We didn't expect her to be the first hostage, but Hashem is good and she's coming home. And Rabbi Label has a flight tomorrow, 12 o'clock, El Al, straight to Israel. And he's going to bring the love and the support of our community. And we are sending a beautiful diamond Chai necklace as a gift from Palm Beach Synagogue to her, to say, Chai, you've lived, you survived, you've endured. You're a symbol of the Jewish people, that we will all survive, we will all endure, we will overcome our enemies. If you want to send a note, a card, or even a small gift for Emily, Rabbi Label's leaving tomorrow at 12. Bring it by the synagogue today, and we will send it with Rabbi Label, with all of our love, with all of our support, not just for Emily, but for all of the hostages. May they all return, each and every one of the 98 hostages. May they all come home very soon. May we see them alive, healthy and well, and we will continue to pray for the complete victory of Israel over her evil enemies. Have a wonderful day.